Now we have the last part of our day, and I think we can start with an applause. The guest from really far away compared to Latvia and Lithuania.
Thank you.
We have, yes, you have the microphone already.
Yeah.
We have, I will also read your title anyway. Yes, it only says South Mediterranean presentation. Okay, I thought it's something
So
more.
I will introduce myself.
Yes, but it's Asma AlSmadi.
Yes.
I don't know if I pronounced right. You are
Yes.
from Jordan.
Yeah.
So we are now having a very nice and interesting presentation from the Middle East region.
Yes.
The floor is yours. Ready when you are. And
Okay.
be
Thank
ready
you.
also for the questions later on.
Thank you. As he said, I'm Asma AlSmadi from the National Erasmus Office in Jordan. I'm here to present the Southern Mediterranean region, especially Jordan, Libya, Tunisia, because these are the offices who elaborate this presentation. Okay, as you can see, this is the Southern Mediterranean region, and Jordan is in the east, Libya in the middle of the Southern Mediterranean region, and Tunisia is representing the west part of the Southern Mediterranean, whereas the French is the second language there, and for the other countries, the English is the second language. So, next, I will start with some pictures from our countries. First one is Jordan, and as you can see, Petra, Dead Sea, and the main dish in Jordan is called mansaf, the meat with yogurt and rice. And we have a lot of touristic sites, as well as in Tunisia. It's a very beautiful country, and the couscous is the main dish there. It's very delicious, and as you can see, there's a lot of touristic and historical sites to visit. And this is Libya. As you can see, part of the Sahara. And also it's the couscous, the main dish there, and a lot of historical places there. So I encourage you to go there, because the people are very helpful, very tolerant to everyone, and we are dealing with international people on a daily basis, because we are very touristic countries. Okay. And now, sorry. Okay, I will start to talk about the higher education in Jordan in some numbers. We have like 30 universities and 45 community colleges, and we have more than 35,000 international students in our universities. So we are receiving students from all over the world, around 106 countries. Okay, and the majority of students are females. And this is the case also to Tunisia. The majority of students are females, 65%. And they have 14 universities and a lot of higher education institutions. Unfortunately, we don't have a lot of numbers for Libya, but they have like 31 universities and a lot of higher education institutions. I don't have the female and male ratios. Okay, I'm trying to not taking a lot of time because I know that you are tired at the end of the day. Okay, the education system in the Southern Mediterranean region is very similar. There is a very little differences, but I'm sure that will give you an overview of our system, of our education system. We have the elementary and then the intermediate, which is the secondary school, and there is a national exam at the end of the secondary school, and when you pass this exam, you are eligible to have your undergraduate studied as university or at community colleges. The university degrees have like 4 to 6 years period of time, and then you will have your postgraduate. And we have a secondary training also for the the school student, and higher training for the student who passed the national exam. Okay, there is some number of our population with the Baltic. As you can see, we have a lot of partnerships with Lithuania, from Jordan to Lithuania, and a little number with Lithuania, with Tunisia. And you can see Jordan is very active. Actually, for the last call, we have a success rate for ICM as 93%. So it's a very high percent, and we are very active in the ICM and performing mobility to Europe. And we believe that our participation in the last Baltic Day, which was in Riga in 2018, also caused this high number of cooperation. And we wish to have a lot of cooperation after this information sessions. And for the capacity building, we have in total 14 capacity building, not only for Jordan, but for the Southern Mediterranean region. And they were very beneficial to us because, as you can see in this project, was toward the national qualification framework in Jordan. It triggers the implementation of a national qualification framework in Jordan. Before this project, there were no framework in Jordan. After the project, the Accreditation Commission for Higher Education Institution started to implement that, and there were legislation and by the Prime Minister, and they start to implement this from the July 2020, and this was the main outcome of the cooperation with the Baltic region. Okay. Now, we have common goals in our countries regarding the higher education. The first one is to ensure all the admission opportunities are fair and equitable for all students, which means inclusion and access the higher education, and then to raise the standard of higher education teaching and learning by a quality assurance system and accreditation, international accreditation, and then to encourage the universities to take a greater responsibility for making significant contribution to the national socio-economic goals. And this is the main objective of the universities and the postgraduate and undergraduate education, is to contribute to the socio-economic environment. And a gap has arisen in the past years because they only they concentrate on the education itself and not for interaction between the socio-economic environment and the education process. And then to adapt an international best practices and promote innovation in teaching and learning by introducing new technology and teaching process and pedagogies. And then the last challenge, the last goal is to instill stakeholders' understanding of the national purpose and benefit of higher education and to promote informed engagements with the system. The stakeholders are far away from the education system in Jordan and in the Southern Mediterranean. There's no matching between them, and there's no cooperation. Most of the research are income paper. There's no implementation on them with our stakeholders. So, from these goals, we have these challenges, which is the access of education due to the insufficient government financial support and the policies. Over there, we have a lot of exceptions in our unified acceptance system in the universities, and then the quality of education. The accountability, because there is no enough follow-up for national and international level to ensure the implementation of the policies of the optimal use of resources, and the innovation, because the use of technology is a must now in the teaching and learning. And the final challenge is the mindset. It's very common for student and teacher to think that only university education is the best one. They are not paying attention for the VET education, the vocational education and training. And you will find like 1,000 of engineering, but there are no engineering assistants. And you'll find a lot of dentists, but we don't have dentist assistant. So we need to work more on the mindset of our teachers, students, and also parents of the students to move forward toward the educational, the VET education. Okay. As you can see, our priorities is matching very well with the priority of the new Erasmus Plus. So I think there is a huge room for collaboration in different areas. I hope we can find some priority to work on. Okay. We have listed the key action that we are eligible, whether being a partner or being an applicant. The one with REDS, we can't be applicant, but we can be a partner. So there is a lot of action that we can be part of. Sorry, I'm looking here all the time. Sorry for that. Okay. As you can see, the mobility, we have the mobility strand of Erasmus Plus, the ICM, the mobility of learning for staff and VET, the mobility of young people, youth exchange, youth participant activities. And then in key action 2, we have the cooperation partnership where we can be partner and center of vocational excellence. In Erasmus Mundus actions, we can be also a full partner in Erasmus joint master degrees and in Erasmus design major. And we can also be a partner in alliances for innovation, in capacity building, which is a very popular among our region. And Jordan, for the last 2 calls, was the most active country of applying for capacity building project, with more than 73, I think, if I memorize very well, application. We can be a grant holder in capacity building in field of higher education, and a capacity building in field of youth, and an applicant for capacity building in field of sports. And we can be a partner in capacity building in the field of VET. Okay. We think that there's some issues that challenges and limit the cooperation. Limited relationships due to we don't have a networking events very common between the Baltic and the Southern Mediterranean. And maybe we encourage doing a lot of information session and maybe inviting the universities from our region, or offer scholarships for the postgraduates, because as you all know, persons have a tendency to work with the university where they graduate. So it's easier to deal with people you know than to establish a new collaboration. So we think if there is maybe scholarships for our students in Baltic region, there will enhance the cooperation or with the region. Also, we have the visa issue, because it discourages the people of applying for a project, especially in ICM, because we don't have embassies for the Baltic region. I think only in Egypt, which is costing extra money for people to get for the student to get their visas. They had to travel to Egypt get the visa and to have the interview, and then they will back to Jordan, and then they will travel to Baltic, and this cost a lot. And especially طبعا for female, because you know it's not easy for our female to travel alone. So we think, I know you don't have anything to do with this issue, but we want to raise it, and maybe we can have a change in the process of getting visa for our region. And this is the last slide. You can find all the communication information, the contact information for our universities for Tunisia, Jordan, and Libya. Unfortunately, this is not the last version of my presentation, but this is a dynamic Google sheet where you can find all the information about our institution, and you can contact them directly. And of course, you can contact the national Erasmus offices in our region, and we can help a lot in contacting you with the universities. Thank you, and have a nice evening.
Thank you so much. I think we won't let you go so quickly in that sense. Let's take some questions too. I think I have at least one myself, but most likely you. I can easily start. Let's say going outside of Erasmus Plus a bit. Yes, I think. Yes,
thank you.
Asma deserves a gift. One more applause. She came from so far
Thank
away.
you, thank you.
You mentioned that the higher education institutions, universities, they should support the economic and social goals of Jordan. And then I was thinking, let's say, what right now? I know that Jordan, I have been myself to Jordan a couple of years ago. European Commission funded Study in Europe fair took place in Jordan. And it was a huge event. And there I got to know, let's say, what Jordan is about. And Estonian energy companies have been very active in Jordan, talking about oil shale. But then I thought, like, what right now, as you have had a really huge, let's say, challenges regarding the migration and the Arab Spring. You have hosted a lot of people from Syria, for example, which has affected your economy. What right now are the social and economic goals of Jordan?
Okay, to deal with the huge number of the refugees, and to train them and integrate them in our ordinary life and in our education system, because, as you know, we don't have that a lot of governmental support for ourselves. And what about the refugees? We need to have maybe funds to train even the teachers to deal with these refugees, because they have a lot of issues, psychological, maybe physical, due to the war. Most of them are maybe disabled physically, and maybe projects on dealing with these type of people would help a lot in Jordan.
And the economic goals, in that sense, these are connected to the social situation, I think.
Okay. Regarding the economic goals, to find a job for the unemployment rate in Jordan now is, the employment rate is about 20%. So we have a lot of unemployment. It's matching the labor market needs. There is a lot of vacant jobs, but because of our outcomes of education outcomes doesn't match the labor market, we need to fill this gap and to match the higher education goals and outcomes with our labor markets at the national and international level also.
Thank you. Anything else? Then I have one technical question then. For example, Estonia opened an embassy very recently in the United Arab Emirates. I don't know about Latvia and Lithuania. Most likely you have an embassy there too. Very, let's say, between us here, with which country do you get along better? With Arab Emirates or Egypt? When it comes to, let's say, the student journey to apply for the visa?
The same, I think the same thing, because we don't have any problem with either countries. Yeah, but the problem is the traveling itself, to have the visa or to apply to visa.
Yes.
To travel.
Yes, yes.
It's not the country to travel to. But I think the relation between Egypt, Jordan, and the United Arab Emirates are very, very good.
Because in that sense, it's why I asked this, that when we talk about sub-Saharan Africa, that is a huge priority right now for the European Commission. Then from that, I have this experience, especially the Baltic countries, that when the prospective students would like to come to study to our region, then sub-Saharan African prospective students sometimes find it easier to go to apply for a visa, maybe in India, maybe in Georgia, maybe some other countries, but not in Egypt. Because even for Egypt, they need to apply for a visa, because their countries' bilateral relations are not visa-free. So in that sense, what was the motive? Because I see that most of the things that you wrote down here are very, let's say, political. And we need to fix some topics on the political level. And I think there is something to do on the Baltic level too, especially when it comes to consular services. Thank you so much. It was very refreshing and very a lot of new information. We wish you good luck, and we will try to get that Google Sheet open too, so that we could see the list of, and the numbers are impressive actually. So the Jordan and Baltic cooperation is really good, and the numbers, I think they can even get better and better when we get rid of these political obstacles and the visa topics.
We hope to. We hope to.